Outlaw Sports is brought to you by Casper Energy Services. Casper Energy Services prides itself on a culture of success.
Mitch Miller, look it up. That name's brings back memories because it's one of those albums my dad played all the time. It drove me crazy. Sing along with Mitch, son of a Mitch. Anyhow, Mitch Miller, though, is a name that you may have heard of recently. He was drafted by the Coyotes. They made him their fourth-round pick. They didn't have a pick in the first round, second round, or third round, and now they don't have a pick in the fourth round because they've denounced Mitch Miller. And it goes back to his days in school where he was a bully. And not only was he was a bully on a disabled kid, a black disabled kid, who was developmentally challenged. Let's use that word. Anyhow, the story, somebody in Arizona started coming up with the facts and producing this story, and it was quite well done. And so what happened, the Coyotes just said, no, we're going to denounce this draft choice. And you're kind of wondering, well, how in the hell did the Coyotes make a guy like this draft choice? Don't forget, they're in a mess. And Bill Armstrong wasn't part of the team, the new GM. So they had to come in and ride the wave. And I think they did the right thing because the guy really hasn't shown any remorse. Now, he goes back and he's a hockey player. He's in a freshman year at North Dakota. But they said, no, you're not even going to play hockey here. You can go to school here, but you cannot play hockey. I don't want to see a kid lose everything because of mistakes, but this could have been a golden opportunity to show you felt bad about it, you're remorseful, and you could have been the poster boy, really, for turning things around. But it's not. But I really applaud the university and the Coyotes for throwing the guy back, because it doesn't always happen that way. You look at the NFL, there's been a lot of guys, the NBA, the same thing, a lot of guys, questionable characters, that have a rap sheet a mile long, still play, or because they're good players. And one guy is Antonio Brown. Now, don't forget, he just served an 8-game suspension. He was a cancer in Pittsburgh. He was a cancer when they traded him to the Raiders. And then Tom Brady wanted him in New England. He came in for 1 year. Then they had to cut him. They had to cut him because of that assault charge of his and the intimidating phone calls and sexual harassment charge that he was facing from another woman, his trainer, a former trainer. But this guy is a talent. And it seems a lot of times in pro sports, there are two sets of rules, for the average guy and for the superstar. Now, Tom Brady is as good of a character person there is in sports. He's a role model. He's the kind of guy you'd like your daughter to marry. He's the kind of guy you want your son to be like. But I don't get this whole thing. I know he wants to win, and he wants to win this year. And why? Because of that divorce he had with Belichick in New England. Basically, they threw him away after all he did. And what did they get for a quarterback? Well, they got Cam Newton for $1 million, but that was just because there's no one else, really. They're not going to replace Tom Brady. He wants to prove Belichick wrong. It's a bad divorce. It's personal. They hate each other. So, the best player out there, Antonio Brown. He's a cancer. He's a talent. There aren't too many players better than him. And so, perhaps he's the exception to the rule, and he gets to play. Is it right? Not in my books.
Geo's Men's in Calgary, providing Calgarians to look their best.